Psychology. What is profiling in forensic psychology? Profiling in forensic psychology, also known as criminal profiling or offender profiling, is a technique utilized to identify psychological and behavioral characteristics of an unidentified suspect based on the analysis of crime scene evidence, victimology, and patterns of behavior. More specifically, profiling is an investigative tool that aims to help law enforcement agencies narrow down suspect lists by developing a psychological, demographic, and behavioral profile of the likely offender. The elements that are typically assessed in profiling are behavioral patterns, personality traits, demographic information, occupation or background, estimated area of comfort or geographic tendencies, and the offender's level of organization or lack thereof. The purpose of profiling is to help guide the police investigation while also providing some context to help the police anticipate the offender's behaviors. For example, escalation of time periods, potential victims, and areas where the offender is more likely to be active. There is also the purpose of prioritizing the suspects to narrow down the suspect list in order to get the offender off the street in a timely manner, but also to provide some insight into the offender's motives and psychological state. Again, this can be useful in letting the police know if the offender is becoming more erratic or unorganized, or if the time periods between crimes is decreasing. Jack the Ripper, the first profiler. Many of us know the case of Jack the Ripper that occurred in 1888 in London. It was a series of brutal murders of women. Dr. Thomas Bond was a British police surgeon who suggested that Jack the Ripper was a solitary, sexually motivated individual with knowledge of human anatomy. This is considered to be one of the first recorded criminal profiles, though it is based largely on observation and not science. Modern profilers. John Douglas, Robert Ressler, and Roy Hazelwood, who were members of the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit at Quantico. They interviewed 36 serial killers, some of which included Charles Manson and Ted Bundy. From these interviews, they created typologies, which included the famous organized-disorganized dichotomy. However, their methods were not empirically based. There is both a clinical approach and a statistical approach to profiling in forensic psychology. With a clinical approach, it is based on expert experience and intuition. The statistical approach is based on empirical data. The statistical approach to profiling in forensic psychology is often associated with investigative psychology, which was created by David Cantor. This approach relies heavily on empirical data that comes from large samples of already solved cases. This data is used to identify behavioral patterns